Have you ever stopped to think about how a giant factory, with thousands of people, tons of machines, somehow manages to make exactly what we want, right when we want it? Well, it's not magic, I promise you. The secret sauce is a really powerful tool called the Master Production Schedule, or MPS for short. So today we're going to pull back the curtain on this unsung hero of manufacturing and see how it turns total chaos into a beautifully synchronized operation.
Okay, so to really get why the MPS is such a big deal, let's first imagine a world without one. Picture a factory floor that's run completely on gut feelings, old habits, and, well, a whole lot of guessing. It's a massive gamble every single day.
So what does that actually look like? What really happens when a factory just wings it? What are the real-world costs of flying blind like that? Let's dive into the chaos that you'd find.
Well, to put it simply, it's a complete mess. You've got warehouses just packed with products nobody wants, gathering dust. Meanwhile, the stuff that customers are actually begging for, totally out of stock. Your managers, they're not managing. They're just firefighters running from one crisis to the next all day long. Your people and your very expensive machines are either overworked or they're just sitting there doing nothing, which is just bleeding money. And maybe worst of all, you can never ever give a customer a reliable delivery date. It's just this perfect storm of waste, stress, and frankly, lost opportunity.
But there is a much better way. And this is where our hero, the Master Production Schedule, finally enters the scene. I want you to think of it like an air traffic control tower for the entire factory. It provides clarity, it provides direction, and it provides a clear view of what's coming.
At its core, the NPS is the master plan that kicks all that guesswork to the curb. It's the bridge between what the market is screaming for and what your factory can actually, realistically produce. It creates the single source of truth that answers the three most critical questions. What are we going to make? When are we going to make it? And exactly how much of it do we need?
Now, creating this plan isn't quite as simple as just looking at a list of sales orders. A really good MPS is actually designed to solve four massive interconnected puzzles that every single manufacturing company on the planet has to deal with.
The first and honestly the most important puzzle is this ultimate balancing act. You know how it is. Market demand can change in a heartbeat. One day a huge order comes in, the next a big one gets canceled. The MPS has to constantly adjust production to make sure you don't have stockouts, because that's lost money, and to make sure you don't overproduce, which just ties up cash and inventory nobody wants.
All right, the next puzzle is all about leveling. Without a plan, you get this wild roller coaster ride of frantic overtime one week, followed by total silence and idle machines the next. That is incredibly inefficient. So the MPS smooths all of that out. It aims to keep the factory humming along at a steady, consistent pace. And that not only cuts costs, it reduces stress on your people and your equipment, and it ends up improving quality too.
Okay, puzzle number 3, inventory. This is a tough one. For every single product, you have to figure out the perfect amount to keep in stock, not too little, not too much. And on top of that, you have to calculate the most efficient batch size for every single production run. It's this giant, complex logistical puzzle that's almost impossible to solve by hand.
And finally, we have the puzzle that your customers care about the most: delivery dates. Without a solid plan, your sales team is basically just making educated guesses. But with a precise MPS, they have a clear, real-time window into what the factory can handle. This means they can make promises they can actually keep. And that right there is how you build rock-solid customer trust.
So if the MPS is the answer to all these puzzles, how does the command tower actually build the plan? Well, it works kind of like a sophisticated computer program. It takes in a bunch of crucial data as its inputs, and then it spits out a crystal clear plan as its output. Let's see what goes into it.
So any plan is only as good as the information you feed it, right? And for a great MPS, you need these 3 pillars. First, you need your sales plan. What are people actually ordering? Second, you need real-time data on your current inventory. What do you already have sitting on the shelves? And third, you need the hard facts about your factory's real-world limits. Modern systems are constantly pulling all this data together to keep the plan up to date and accurate.
Now, what's really fascinating here are these production conditions. This is where the plan gets a serious dose of reality. It knows your factory calendar, it knows which machines can make which products, and it knows your true capacity. But one of the absolute game changers here is something called the time fence. Think of it like a line drawn in the sand. It's a period of time, say the next 2 weeks, where the production plan is completely locked. No changes allowed.
This creates this amazing zone of stability, and it stops those last-minute panic-driven changes from causing chaos all the way down the line. It's a simple rule, but it enforces discipline and makes the whole system predictable.
So once the system chews on all those inputs and follows all those rules, what does it produce? Well, the output is a thing of beauty. A simple, clear, and totally actionable schedule.
And here's what it looks like. It's this simple. On this date, on this specific production line, we are making this product and we're making this exact quantity. There is absolutely no room for confusion. Everybody, from the person running the machine to the team ordering the raw materials, is literally on the same page.
So when you put it all together, the change is just huge. It's a journey from a state of constant, stressful, reactive chaos to one of proactive, strategic control.
I mean, look at the difference here. It's night and day. On one side, you have the world of guesswork, which just leads to constant firefighting, high stress, and tons of waste. On the other side, the master plan gives you proactive planning and smooth, efficient operations. And the best part? You turn unhappy customers into loyal fans by actually delivering when you say you will. It's a total shift from making gut-feel decisions to running a smart, data-driven strategy.
So what's the bottom line here? The master production schedule isn't just about being efficient. It is the very foundation of a production system that is not only strong, but also flexible. One that's built on a solid base of data, but is still agile enough to handle whatever the market throws at it.
So I'm going to leave you with one final thought, and this applies to way more than just factories. In your own work, in your projects, are you navigating with a clear, detailed map, or are you just kind of guessing your way through the fog? I hope this explainer gave you some clarity on that. Thanks for joining me.